Something that I love, we talked about the last episode, speaking of anger. Say it with a happy face. Speaking of anger. Trying to be like, speaking of anger. Excuse me. So speaking of anger, yes, just had to come out.
Be angry.
So embodying emotions is really critical to healing and radical change is what I'm talking about. And also what I loved about our conversation last, you were talking about your experiences with depression, and we were also talked about anger as an emotion and having some space from anger and understanding how anger can be a teacher. So it was really powerful that you brought that up during your conversation, and it's something that is still, I think, for me, in my own sense of justice and healing, I've had to come to terms with my anger and also kind of be in communion with her, you know, at any moment, because I think a lot of the conflict that we're experiencing today, or a lot of the disconnect I see, is that people can't even tolerate, you know, you have like movements like, people can't even tolerate the state that we're in. So what happens, what are your thoughts about the current state of America? Like, how would you describe this Trump era and the people you've been conversing with?
I think it's like different for different groups of people. I think for white people, it's like the end of the world.
Yeah.
And I think for non-white folks in marginalized communities, it's like, oh, this is business as usual. This is what America does.
Yeah.
You know, this kind of like whiteness, this white supremacy, this kind of like overvaluing of this like capitalist system, you know, all of that is like, it's not a secret to many marginalized communities, you know? And so what a lot of communities of color are having to do is not only hold space for ourselves, but having to hold space for our white counterparts now, you know, who actually don't have the capacity right now, you know, to handle this kind of like trauma. You know, there's a lot of like fragility, you know, with a lot of white folks right now, you know. And so again, like this kind of liberatory struggle is once again on the backs of marginalized communities.